Hey guys, it's Kells here today, and I'm back. We're not doing the 7 day challenge, but we are doing a couple of days of live. So I'm back as promised from last night. So you guys know as you come in, just announce yourself in the comments. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. Shout out your city where you where you joining us from. Andre, you missed the first one. Yes, you did miss the first one, Andre, but you're not going to miss this one, babe. You're not going to miss this one. We've had 14 different Kells Collective live videos where you guys write into my Kells Collective at Gmail account with your dating drama, your dating tea, your dating anything you want to talk about. 14 days, right? Because we did the first round of 7 day challenge when we were in Atlanta for Thanksgiving. Then we did the second round of the 7 day It's Kells Collective Challenge, and that was here in DC. Then we took a little 3 week break. Took a little breaky break, just like everybody for Christmas and holidays and everything like that. And now we're back. Now we're not doing a 7 day challenge now because y'all didn't get my last video to 100 likes. So we can't do another 7 day challenge until we see that last, not my last video, but my last video in the last 7 day challenge. Keep up now, keep up. Hope you could keep up with what I'm talking about. That video didn't get to 100 likes. It got to like 69. So I don't know what y'all was trying to tell me, but uh, if we can get that video to 100, then I'll do another 7 day challenge. But if not, I will just continue to pop on occasionally. But tonight is about to be an epic video. You hear me? So go ahead and get your little drink. Last night, all of y'all was drinking and smoking, and I didn't have anything to sip on. But guess what? Y'all not gonna leave me out tonight. You hear me? It looked like a mug, but don't worry about what's in it. This is grown folks. This is grown folks, okay? So if I were you, I would get my little tea. I'll get my little coffee. I'll get my little brown liquor. Last night we were talking about Irk and Jerk. We were talking about chocolate season. Kenny, what's up? We were talking about, what were we talking about? Nola Ant was talking about some kind of drink he had, and I was talking about Makers, whiskey. So I would suggest you guys get your little drink, get your little snacks, because tonight's topic looks like it's going to be epic. And the person that wrote in is actually in the comments tonight. It is Kenny H. Hey, Island Chica. If you guys don't already know the drill, let me run the drill real quick. Is this lighting good? I feel like the lighting's okay. You like my makeup tonight, guys? You like the lips? Let me run over the drill right quick. You guys need to jump in the comments. For one, announce yourself when you come in. Shout your city out. Let me know where you're joining us from. For two, hit that like button. It helps me get noticed in this big wide world of YouTube. Three, go ahead and subscribe and put your notifications on so you don't be like some people missing every time we go live. Because you know you get to see the comments. When you watch live like you're watching right now, you get to see the comments of everybody else and you get to chime in. When you watch afterwards, you get to see what's going on because I do read back the comments, but you just don't get the live interaction. And you know, we're all about the collective wisdom of the Kells community around here. So since it's cold, it's Saturday night, everybody in the house. I'm here to join you guys and talk about an epic email that I received in the Gmail box. It's itskellscollective@gmail.com. You know the drill. You send in what you want me to talk about. I read the email. I give you my off the dome, candid reactions. And then you not only get the candid reactions of me, but you get the reactions of the It's Kells Collective joining us tonight in the comments. So you guys announce yourself when you come in. You know the drill. And get your little drink. Get you a little something to sip on, because tonight Kenny H sent an epic email and it looks like it's about to be, I don't know, please be gentle because I haven't read the email, but the email looks like super well written and intellectual, and it looks like it's going to evoke massive amounts of conversation. So I'm really going to jump right into it. But I'm a little bit scared because I don't know what it says. I haven't read it in depth. You know, I read it candidly on air. I just glimpse it. So I kind of glimpsed it. So I kind of know what it's talking about, but not fully. I'm a little bit scared. I have to be honest with you because these emails like this that are heavy, like about blackness or black femininity or black womanhood or black manhood, as this one is, can sometimes the views and the comments can get like out of control. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some liquid courage. Liquid courage and and jump right into it, shall we? We shall. All right. Let me not spill my drink. Okay. All right. Okay. Um yeah, I think we're good tonight. Let me know if you want me to move or do something with the camera. I think we're good. Okay. So it says the subject line says Black Manhood. It says, "Hey Kells, first let me wish you happy holidays and happy New Year 2018. I wish you more prosperity and success. I want to thank you also for the great content that you share on your YouTube channel. More importantly, I appreciate that you always take the time to debunk some of the negative propaganda about Black women, Black dating, and Black people in general." That makes my heart sing, Kenny. That's what I'm here for, babe. This is important because most of us have come to internalize these negativities and have accepted them as uniquely Black problems. Therefore, our conversations are poisoned and debased before we even start. Yo, I have to pause right there because when I tell you that the itskellscollective Collective attracts some of the most intellectually stimulating conversations, people, minds, both male and female. Like, I'm not gassing you. You understand me? Like, right away, I'm like, yo, what is he talking about? It sound lit. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is the community that I seek to be a part of. Kenny, so far so good, babe. All right. Now, I made the comment on your last live that Black manhood was in a rebuilding process and you wanted some clarification, which is great because my belief is that Black women have even more of a stake in a rebuilt, renewed Black manhood. Okay, so he's saying Black women have a stake in a rebuilt, renewed Black manhood. Okay. So on one of my last videos, let me pause right there for a second. I don't remember which of the last videos. It might have been, Kenny, you're in the comments, which of the videos where we did Black manhood come up and I asked you to explain your points? Which one was that? But it was in one of our last lives, and Kenny, something was happening and we said something. Kenny made a comment about Black manhood being in a state of revitalization, rebuilding, and I asked him to explain that. So I don't remember which video that is, but I think it's not the very last one, but it's the last one I did before I took the 3-week hiatus. Okay. So he says Black women have more of a stake in a rebuilt manhood. The live about Black women dating. Okay, I have a lot of those lives. There's something. Okay, so over the past few centuries, through the process of slavery and colonization, Black manhood was decimated, destroyed, and puked on a global scale. Black men, whether in Africa, the Caribbean, or here in the US, have lost the sense of being builders, protectors, and competitors that enables a society, culture, nation to thrive. The biggest victims of this catastrophic failure of Black manhood to withstand attacks from others has been Black women. For example, the lack of strong Black manhood is the reason Black women's beauty has been denigrated. It's also the reason why Black women do not feel safe in Black neighborhoods, etc. Throughout these rough years, there has always been some individual Black men and some small groups who have recognized the need to resuscitate Black manhood and what all that entails. but we haven't reached a critical mass yet. Critical mass. You know what that is? Critical mass is like a tipping point, a large scale, a majority. That's a critical mass. Manhood is not a natural thing. It has to be taught. Okay, it's not a natural thing. It has to be taught. Being a male does not automatically make one a man. Manhood requires a belief in the superiority of, hold on, wait, let me make sure I get this. Manhood requires a belief in the superiority of your culture, civilization over others, and the need to defend said culture and civilization. Manhood requires critical thinking, planning, and power. Even to this day, there are tribes in Africa who hold manhood training for their boys. I'm going to stop right there. He says, even to this day, there are tribes in Africa who hold manhood, sorry, my computer went down, training for their boys. Okay. I talk about this when I talked about in past lives. I talk about this a lot in terms of rites of passage and how in other cultures there are clear rites of passage for a man to prove himself capable of caring for and worthy of having a wife. A wife. And in the US, we actually really don't have any rites of passage. So every man, every creature born with a penis thinks that he deserves a wife or he deserves a woman. And women think, oh, anything with a penis deserves a woman. Both sides, both sexes think that. But in actuality, in most cultures of the world, you don't, just because you're born with, just because you're a man or a male by genetics, in most cultures of the world, you still have to go through training and preparation to prove that you're worthy and capable of taking care of a household, a wife, and a family before you can get married, before you're suitable to be seen as a man and suitable to be married. But in the US, we don't have that. So I think that is a big issue that nobody ever talks about. We just think, oh, anybody would have, every man, every woman need to jump and find a man, a quote unquote man, but nobody has gone through any rites of passage to prove that they're capable of taking care of a household. So I think I talked about a lot of this in my video. Do you want a husband, a boyfriend, or a F buddy? I think I started talking about rites of passage in that video. And then we talked about it again when we were talking about leveling up. And then we talked about it again when we were talking about standards, Black women dating standards. So Kenny brings this up that in African countries, there are manhood training for their boys. And guess what? There are femininity and womanhood training for their women as well. Because that was one of the things that when I lived in London, I learned that a lot of the African countries, their aunties or the older women in the family that they call aunties would actually take the girls aside and train them up to be proper women. And I don't know if we have this in the US. And I definitely know we don't have rites of passage for our men. So on both sides, nobody is properly prepared to be a wife and nobody is properly prepared to be a husband. Most times, we haven't reached critical mass yet. So it's interesting that he brings that up. All right, shall we continue? Let me read that last sentence back. Gosh, this is depth. So even to this day, there are tribes in Africa who hold manhood training for their boys. This is done by non-Black ethnic groups as well. Manhood, or even the patriarchy, as some call it, is necessary, as some call it, is a necessary institution in a world where there are so many competing interests and limited resources. Oh, wow. Manhood is the main vehicle that societies use to advance their interests and secure their future. Can I say that again? Manhood is the main vehicle that societies use to advance their interests and secure their future. The value of manhood, the value of a man. When I get deep, let me pause. When I get deep into something and I'm like, oh my God, intellectually this is stimulating me, my accent comes out. So I want to make sure that I speak through my accent, which is why I'm talking this slowly. And I want you to hear what he's written here, because this is dope. I might copy and paste this into a comment below just so y'all can read this. Anyway, okay. This partly explains, let me read that back and then go forward. Manhood is the main vehicle that societies use to advance their interests and secure their future. This partly explains why so many white women voted the way they did in the past election, even with the allegations against him. So they protect their manhood regardless of if they agree with the behavior, with the mentality, with the perspectives of their men. They protect their manhood because it is the primary vehicle that societies use to advance their interests and secure their future. Are y'all hearing him though? Okay. Wow. Another consequence of the failure of Black manhood is the breakdown of the societal contract between men and women, the societal contract between men and women. This explains a lot of the legitimate frustrations that Black women have against Black men. I think at a subconscious level, it's a cry asking Black men to rise and fulfill their duty. Unfortunately, this has a serious impact on our interactions with each other. And when we are not careful, we take our issues out of context. Even worse, many fall into the gender war cesspool. This is my personal opinion, and I understand that it does not and will not have mass appeal. I am curious to hear your thoughts. I look forward to hearing from you. Regards, Kenny H. Yo. Wow. I mean, let me say this. Sometimes on YouTube and social media and even television and reality shows to some extent are usually full of the least common denominator foolishness. Something that entertains you on a level that is so elementary, it actually like makes you stupider when you watch it. And sometimes that's cool because you come back from work and you really don't want to think that hard. And you just want to zone out and laugh at other people's problems. So you turn on YouTube and you laugh at other people's foolishness. Or you turn on reality TV and you laugh at other people's foolishness. Or you turn on a movie or something and you're just laughing and you're not really thinking. Or you listen to music and all this music. All my friends are dead. Take me to the edge. All my friends are dead. And you listen and you're listening to that foolishness and it's just killing your brain cells. And you're just laughing because you've been working hard all day and you don't want to think that hard. But sometimes you get some emails like this that Kenny H sent in, or sometimes you buck up into the Kells collective and you find something that is kind of chill on some levels. We kind of ratchet bougetto. We talked about it last night. And sometimes we're high thinking, high intellect, talking about manifestation, affirmations, not falling for propaganda, elevating our standards, traveling, self-love, self-care. And you buck up into a channel like this that has like kind of multiple dimensions of the foolishness and the ratchetness sometimes and the rants. And then you have the high intellect. And when I tell you, emails like this just restore my faith in men, restore my faith in YouTube, restore my faith in just, regular folks. Like, this is a dope email. And true, not everybody is going to agree with it. Not everybody's going to understand it. Yesterday I was saying when the teacher will appear when the student is ready. So not everything we talk about on this channel you're going to fully understand or even agree with, and that's not the point of it. And that this email, not everything in here you're going to understand or fully agree with, and that's not the point of it. But the point is that this has a very distinct perspective, and there's depth to it, and you're able to debate some of the points in it, and you're able to understand, or your mind is able to open up in a way that it couldn't open up before. It did not open up before. So I give props to Kenny H for sending in this email, and it's speaking a truth that not everybody would agree with, but you can listen to it and see where he's coming from and formulate your own opinions on it. So I want to first and foremost say, yo, Kenny, good looking out. Thank you for sending in an email like this. Now I'll say this: not every email that I get in the It's Kells Collective box is this depth to this depth, and I appreciate that because I appreciate the diversity that is blackness and the diversity that it is that is conversation about dating. Um, but but it's good to get some of these emails sometimes. So, whew, first let me take a little sip. Mm. And I don't even know where to start with this. Okay, let me let me read some of it back, and let me break and give you my opinions on some of this. Overall, I agree with everything that's said here, and I mean, I'm just wondering, Kenny, where the community of men is that would agree with this, and when is that critical mass going to turn into a tipping? Like, when is that going to tip, and how is it? You know, I think to be honest with you, I get the sense that when we say we're woke, we're woke. I get the sense that a lot of people understand this now, and collectively we're moving to that place where people get this. Let's jump into it a little bit more. All right. He says, he says black manhood is in. He says, hold on. He says that black women have more of a stake in rebuild renewed black manhood. I agree with that completely. I am not, by nature of who I am in this world, like, I am self-sufficient. I work, I make my own money. People might think that I'm this massive feminist. Um, but I'm not a feminist in the sense of the word that I think that women are superior to men. Feminism in actuality is talking about the equality of the sexes. Um, and I don't necessarily believe in the equality of the sexes in the way of in the way that most of us think of it. When you say equality of the sexes, you're thinking, oh, so a man and a woman should be paid the same amount of money, and they should be treated the same, and everything should be the same. I don't believe in that. As I said yesterday on my live, I think that men have some innate strengths and weaknesses, and I think women have their innate strengths and weaknesses. And I think a lot of the times what feminists go for is that a woman to be treated like a man, and I don't believe in that. I don't think that equality means a woman should be treated like a man. And in America and in the West, that's what it's looking like and it's feeling like. And I don't believe in that. I believe in a yin and yang of the sexes, and that they each have their own distinct strengths, and they need to come together to create this kind of equilibrium, meaning give and take flow, mutable flow that makes sense together. So I do believe that black women have a stake in black manhood, but I complimentary, exactly, Kenny. But I do believe that it's up to the black men to step up. I feel like black women have taken on an undue burden of being both the male and the feminine in the household. And that creates massive problems of demasculating black men, of black women and black men not knowing how to deal with each other, because women have to be both men and women. So when you say black women have a stake in the rebuilt, renewed black man, I feel like The stake is we're waiting to not have to be so masculine. The stake is we're waiting for black men to show up and show out in a way that black women can fall back and be feminine and be submissive and be women, and let black men lead without you having to worry about um, if he's a good enough leader. And um, it's up to black men to prove that, even in the face of all whatever adversity you can dig up. In the face, it doesn't matter. In the face of that, you still have to prove yourself that you're a man, and you still have to step up. And there's no way that a woman is going to trust you with her life and her body and her children unless you can prove that, regardless of what kind of obstacles you think are in your way. Yesterday, we talked about the Me Too movement, of how women were being sexually harassed, and how sometimes you have to take what people use against you and use it as your power. So, in the face of anything that you can say about black men being anything, you still have to take it and use it as your power. And that doesn't, you have to figure out how to do that. Critical thinking, I don't know. Just as how women who are sexually harassed, you have to figure out how to still feed your family in the face of being sexually harassed. You still, you gonna let your family starve because you have a pervert boss? You know what I mean? Like, you have to figure that out. So I think black women are kind of waiting on the sidelines a little bit for the critical mass of black men to get to that point. I wouldn't say that there's none, but there are a whole bunch. As we talk about affirmations, there are so many men that can be perfect mates and husband for you. There's so many of them. So I'm not going to feed into the propaganda that they're not, but there's still work to be done. Okay. He says, over the past few centuries, through the process of slavery and colonization, black manhood has been decimated, destroyed, and puked on a global scale. I think that's black people in general. It's complicated. I think it's black people in general, but again, you have to use what people use against you as your strength. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about therapy and being post-traumatic stress disorder and being wounded and having to deal with that. I think black people in general have to learn how to deal with that. And you have to learn how to think in a way that, hey Taj, what's up, boo? You have to learn to think in a way that is affirmative and feeds you and speaks life into yourself. You can't take everything that's said about you. Donald Trump says, oh, you're a shithole. And, now everybody's sad. Who gives a damn what he has to say? You have to know. You have to know. And whatever it takes for you to get to the place that you know without a doubt that you are deserving, that you are capable, that you are that you are divine, that it is due you. However, you have to get to that place mentally to believe that with all of your being. That's where you need to get to, so that when anybody tell you any fuckery, and I'm going to use that word, when anybody say anything about you, you can just look at them and laugh. Because and there's nothing anybody can say about you. There's nothing nobody can put you in a t-shirt and tell you a monkey and you feel bad about it, because everybody's in an uproar about an H&M t-shirt because the boy's in a monkey. Meanwhile, his own parents didn't even say nothing. That tells you how sick. That tells you how mentally sick. Everybody in an uproar, but the boy's parents didn't say nothing because they thinking about money, or they not paying attention. You know what I mean? So that's your own. You have to be aware and you have to know these things. You know what I mean? So you have to get to the point mentally where there's without a shadow of a doubt, you know who you are. Okay, so he says, yes, it's been decimated, it's been destroyed, it's been puked on, but that's you have to use it. You have to use what people use against you. You have to play chess. You have to play chess. Okay. He says black men, whether in Africa, the Caribbean, or here in the US, have lost the sense of being builders, protectors, and competitors that enables a society, a culture, a nation to thrive. I believe that. I've seen personally that a lot of families have the women, and I don't know if this is an only black thing, right? This might be a poor thing. Maybe it's a poverty mentality. Maybe other races have this in their people that are struggling to make ends meet. So maybe it's a poverty mentality. Maybe it's not only attributed to black, because a lot of times the most negative things are attributed to black, but they act like other cultures don't have these issues. They do. So I don't know if other cultures have this issue, but I find that like the women are raised to be freaking super women. Oh my god, they can do the man's job and the woman's job, and they don't know how to stand down. They don't know how to be feminine. They don't know how to be chill, but they know how to damn make sure the lights are on and the food is on the table, and people are pretty much fed, but it makes them hard. It makes them hard, right? And the men, they do the least, and it's like, well, at least he's this. Well, at least he's not a drug addict. Well, at least he's not a killer. Well, at least he's not a drug dealer. Well, at least he comes home at night. Well, I'm just happy he has a job. How many times in your own household have you heard that or seen it? You know what I mean? And I feel like in black households, you have that a lot. I don't know, it might be a poor thing. Maybe in white households, they have it. Maybe in Hispanic households or Asian households, they have that. But I can't speak to those households. I can only speak to what I've seen. And I've seen that a lot. And so I'm waiting for the point, as Kenny H. points out here, that we start raising our men to be builders, providers, and protectors and competitors, and preparing them to be the head of household, and preparing them to be the leader in the household and be the breadwinner, and so that the woman can chill and she can raise the family and she can do what a woman is designed to do the best. Not that a woman can't bring home the bacon and all of that, but each of our sexes have our strengths and weaknesses, and we need purpose. We need purpose in a household, and we need complementary energies in a household to be a whole, yin and yang, right? So yin and yang. So I'm seeing the comments, so I'll jump into the comments in a little bit. Let me get my thoughts out. So yeah. So being the builders, protectors, competitors, and enabling a society and a nation to thrive, Kenny says. Okay. Then he goes into the biggest victim of the catastrophic failure of black manhood to withstand attacks from others. So the failure of black manhood to withstand attacks from others. How does black manhood withstand attacks from others? Has been the black woman, he says. For example, the lack of strong black manhood is the reason black women's beauty has been denigrated. It is also the reason why black women do not feel safe in black neighborhoods, etc. Okay. I feel pretty safe in black neighborhoods, but I don't know. I grew up in the suburbs, so I can't, if you're talking about some real hood neighborhoods or some projects, no, I've never been in that. So I can't attribute to that. But black neighborhoods, like I'm from Miramar and Pembroke Pines in Miami, and it's a black neighborhood. It's Caribbean. And I feel safe. So I guess he's mean some black neighborhoods. And I do agree with him when he says that, the failure of black manhood to withstand attacks from others, the biggest, the people that have been hurt the most by that have been black women. I agree with him. I don't only think it's been black women. I think it's been the black family. Because you need that leadership. You need that masculinity. There is a purpose for it. Yeah. Woo, let me take a sip. Hold on. This is deep. And I see y'all going ham in the comments, and Lord, I want to jump in there. Okay. So through these rough years, oh Lord, the heat is on. Can y'all give me like 1 second to turn this heat off? 1 second. Okay. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Okay. Then he says, through these rough years, there has always been some individual black men and some small groups who have recognized the need to resuscitate black manhood and what all that entails, but we haven't reached a critical mass yet. Okay? What are those groups? Who are those groups? How can those groups be identified? How can we support those groups? How can we amplify those groups? How can we join those groups? How can we create our own groups? How do you identify the individual black men and some small groups who have recognized the need to resuscitate black manhood and what all that entails? How do you join that? How do you recognize that? What does that look like in your everyday life? How do you, Kenny? How do you know what a group of men that are resuscitating black manhood look like? How do we build on that critical mass? Manhood is not a natural thing. It has to be taught, okay? Being male does not automatically make one a man. Manhood requires a belief in the superiority of your culture, civilization over others, and the need to defend said culture, civilization. I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. As I said before, you let me take a second. Black manhood requires a belief in the superiority of your culture, civilization over others, and the need to defend said culture and civilization. Does it need to be the superiority? I agree with that. I know it's not politically correct. But on some level, that's what's needed when you're under attack. That's what's needed when you're under attack. You need to feel that at least on some level, that there you are deserving, and that nobody can deny you that, and that sometimes that can manifest as I feel superior. Especially, people will say that if you're confident, they're like, oh, who does she think she is? Who does he think he is? What makes them and what gives them, and what you just have to know it. So, on some level, I agree with him there. You have to believe that your culture and that your civilization is over others and deserves to be protected. So, maybe we do need to get to that point where not only do you think that you're equal, but that you actually believe that on some level you're superior and deserving. I don't know. Is that the way to combat being decimated for all these years? It's a conversation to be had. Let me make sure I'm in the right place. Manhood requires critical thinking, planning, and power. I agree with that. I can't disagree. Even to this day, there are tribes in Africa who hold manhood training and with their boys. Agreed, I said before, rites of passage. What makes you deserving of a wife and family? What makes you deserving of a woman's body to carry your seed into this next generation? What makes you deserving? Can you provide and protect for this woman? Can you? And if you're not willing to do it, or if you don't understand the purpose of it, then you don't deserve any authority over her body. You don't deserve to put your seed in her womb to carry your seed into this world. You don't deserve it if you don't understand that you need to prove yourself worthy of a woman's womb. You are planting a seed in a woman's womb to carry civilization forward. You have to be worthy of that. And in America, we don't nobody say that. Just as long as you could have sex, you deserve a child. As long as you have a penis, you deserve a woman. That's nonsensical. Think of what it really means. Don't think of how easy it is to have a kid. Think of what you're really doing when you're planting a seed in somebody else's womb. What does that mean? Anyway. He says this is done by non-black ethnic groups as well. Manhood, or even the patriarchy, as some call it, is necessary institution in a world where there are so many competing interests and limited resources. Right, you need manhood to be able to compete in this world, especially with competing interests and limited resources. We need men. We need men. We need men. You know what I mean? So when you say, are you worthy? It's not trying to denigrate manhood. It's trying to say, you need the fittest of the fit. You need the fittest of the fit to procreate and to be able to compete in a world with limited resources. So if you can't prove yourself, maybe you don't deserve to procreate. You ever notice that the smartest people have the least amount of children? The people with no damn sense be the ones with 6 kids, 7 kids, 8 kids, all they can barely take care of them. You ever notice that? Why? That's crazy. But anyway, I guess, if only the smartest people procreated, it'd only be like 10 people on Earth anyway. So, maybe that's neither here nor there. Um, okay, so manhood is the main vehicle that societies use to advance their interest and secure their future. So that is not a feminist statement, but I can agree with it. As I said, I'm not a feminist in the traditional sense of the word. I don't think that women should be treated like men to be seen as equal. I think women should be treated like women with respect, and I think men should be treated like men with respect. And I don't think, we don't know what, yesterday I talked a little bit about the feminine mystique and being able to convince and persuade and seduce and do things that people were calling witch. Oh, that sounds sneaky. That sounds like a witch. Because we take everything that is a woman's strength and turn it into something that is derogatory. Bitches and hoes. She can't, the prostitute, the this and that. Anything that can be, that is a unique strength to a woman. We speak ill of it. I don't know if you guys notice. And then we build her up by blessing her masculine tendencies. So if she work hard, she a money maker, she hustling, she grinding, she handle business, she independence. Do you know what that, whatever, did I spell it right? I don't know. She doing all that. That's what, so she's a man. So basically she's a masculine, and that's what everybody, is bigging up. You know what I mean? But there are other things to womanhood that is uniquely women, feminine, that's a strength. Just like there's things to manhood that is uniquely masculine, that is a strength. You know what I mean? And when he says manhood is the main vehicle that societies use to advance their interests and secure their future, it is the truth, not femininity, really. Not women. Women secure their future in a different way, but men are definitely necessary as well. So I agree with that. That might not be a feminist thing to say, but I believe it. I agree. This partly explains why so many white women voted the way they did in the past election, even with the allegations against him. This is such an important point, because when we talked about the election, and we said, 93% of black women voted against Trump. But what was it? It was 53% of white women voted for Trump. Even with his bullshit, you hear me? Grabbing pussies, all that. White women voted for him. Why? Why would they do that? What? Are they stupid? We don't get it. Why would so many white women do that? Because they protect masculinity, white masculinity at all costs, because that's how they secure their future. Black people don't do that. Black people will throw a black man ass under the bus with a quickness. Do you understand me? He don't know what he's talking about. Let me fix it. I got it. He doesn't know what he's doing. No, that's not right. I'll do it. This how you do it. Shut up. No, you gonna fix that? Why is you doing that? No, that don't make sense. This how you do it. Black women be the main ones cutting black guys down. No, I'm not saying that everything a black man does, you should shut up and let him do his foolishness. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that some people protect their men, no matter how stupid and ignoramus they are. And they know it. They know it. They're not stupid. They're not stupid. They know he's an ignoramus and disgusting and gross, but they're not going to crucify their own men. Why would they do that? That's shooting themselves in the foot, because masculinity is the main advancer of their interests and how they secure their future. So is there something to be learned there? Is there something to be learned there? Right? So it's not saying, it's very hard for black people to step behind something that you know is wrong. It's kind of hard. Like when you know he doing wrong, some of y'all will be like, "Oh no, he didn't do anything and I don't understand why he's in trouble right now." You know what I mean? Some of y'all will be like that. But some of us just be like, he made one little mistake and you killing him. You beating him down. You beating him down because you're used to being over critical of blackness. Excuse me. You kind of have taken on the same characteristics of your oppressors. You kind of have taken on the same overcritical characteristics of your oppressors. I said this the other time in one of our lives where we said, why do we tell black women to date outside of your race? You should date outside of your race. You should be open to interracial dating. But we don't tell white women that. We don't tell Spanish women that. We don't tell Asian women that. Why? Why do you tell black women to do and black men to do something that you don't tell other races to do? Why are you hypercritical of blackness? Does it make sense? Why would you tell this race to do that, but you don't tell no other race to do that? You know what I mean? You have to be careful of the things that people try to convince you to do because of your blackness. Because it might be they're trying to force you to to believe in this inferiority that they have in mind for you. So, you know what I mean? Be careful not to denigrate your own men. You know what I mean? You can expect higher of them. You can expect more of them, but you don't have to denigrate them. You don't have to, you don't have to beat them down, because other races don't do that of their men. They respect them even when they go on TV and talk the biggest foolishness, right? They protect masculinity. All right, what else does he say here? Another consequence of the failure of black manhood is the breakdown of the social contract between men and women. Social contract. Do you guys know what social contracts are? Can somebody explain what social contracts in the context of men, women are? Somebody can jump in the comments and explain that. This explains a lot of the legitimate frustrations that black women have against black men. I think at a subconscious level, it's a cry asking black men to rise and fulfill their duty. Unfortunately, this has a serious impact on our interactions with each other, and when we are not careful, we take our issues out of context. Even worse, we may fall into the gender war cesspool, right? So gender wars. So instead of understanding our individual strengths and weaknesses as males and females, we just start to pick each other apart. And to say, well, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. Well, it's your fault. Well, if you did this, well, if you did this, well, if the chicken or the egg, which one? The chicken or the egg? You know what I mean? And so you have to be careful not to fall into that gender war and actually to support each other, but to allow black men to elevate as they are in a state of rebuilding, as Kenny, in the opinion of Kenny. He says, this is my personal opinion, and I understand that it does not and will not have mass appeal. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. So, yeah, that is Kenny's email. I see you guys going ham in the comments. As I said when I opened up this video, I'm a little bit scared because this is a deep issue and it's multifaceted, and off the cuff commentary on it, as I'm doing right now, is not necessarily sufficient enough. But this is casual conversation, and tonight is a little bit. It's I appreciate him writing in. Um, but I'm scared. I'm scared, to be honest with you, because people could rip you to shreds over something like this. I do want to jump in the comments, though. I do want to hear what you guys think. I read the email through fully, and then I went back and gave my comments on each individual section. So I know you guys were chiming in on what you think in each of those. And so we're at 50 minutes right now. Let me jump into the comments, because I purposefully tried to get all my thoughts out before jumping into the comments, because sometimes when I watch these videos back, I'll be thinking, oh, I should have finished my thought completely before I jumped into the comments, because I can kind of get derailed on the comments sometimes. But tonight we went fully through the email twice. And now we're going to jump in the comments. If you haven't, take a minute to like this video. I really appreciate it. It helps me get noticed in this world of YouTube. And if you're not already subscribed, please do that. And put your notifications on so you know when we go live. I'm going to take a little sip, sip, sip. And now I'm going to jump into the comments. All right, so we're talking about Black manhood, Black masculinity today. Kenny H, who's in the comments tonight, he is the one who wrote in. And he's in the comments tonight. So if you want to share your thoughts, please do. All right. So also, if you're in here, I see you guys. I see like 21 of you guys, 22 of you guys in here. Jump in the comments. Let me know where you're viewing from. Good looking out for joining us tonight, Saturday night, and 22 of you guys are in here. That's dope. All right, it's a really heavy topic tonight. I was supposed to talk about it last night, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't talk about it last night. Last night, I just kind of ran some ideas back through you guys about what we're going to talk about in the future. But tonight, we got into the Black manhood, and you guys have been in the comments litty lit. Which collective more lit than the Kells collective? I'll wait. Here we go. Andre, good looking out. Thanks for joining us. Nike Boy, what's up? Thanks for joining us. Airborne Eclipse. Thank you, Nike Boy. You were waiting on me, Airborne Eclipse. Like waiting on your daughters in the bathroom. I'm sorry, boo. Hey, Kenny, Island Chica, what's up? DB is in here. DB, we celebrated DB's 50th birthday yesterday. Nike Boy 23 says, I am in college and many Black men just want to be thugs and have multiple girls at my college. So when you're in college, in the US, college kind of semi feels like the rite of passage that we talked about. But you kind of do expect younger guys to, have multiple women and be sowing their wild oats or whatever. But what happens is that a lot of them do not have strong enough leadership to groom them into that manhood, as Kenny talked about in his email. Like you're just because you're born with a penis, just because you're born male does not make you a man. Just like when as a woman, just because you're born female does not make you a woman. So there is some training that we're missing, and those communities, we're not at critical mass yet, but those communities that we see as very respectable men, I would ask them to take these younger guys under their wing and show them how to be men. Not what their daddies or what their granddaddies or what these past generations have done, because really, these past generations I don't know if they stepped up to the plate like they should have. You know what I mean? So now we have to take our reins and do it ourselves. So on some level, yes, college guys will have, be, figuring things out. But we really need those older men to come in and say, this is how you be a man. This is how you prepare yourself to be the head of a household, and how you are a provider and a protector, and how you prove yourself worthy to take care of a family and a wife, and to progress generations. Jay-Z said, legacy, 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 legacy. Yeah, I got that 444 album. He's talking like he's preaching on that album. You know what I mean? Legacy. Legacy. All right. So what else are you guys are saying? Kenyon, what's up? Um, Taj Mahal, what's up? DB says, the black man is the most underrepresented human walking now. I speak from experience. Underrepresented. What do you mean by underrepresented? DB. I know in the corporate world, actually, when I was in the corporate world in Miami in commercial real estate, I didn't see that many black men. But now that I'm in DC in the corporate world, federal world, I see a lot of black men, and it feels good. It feels good to see a lot of black men. All right. What else are you guys saying? Taj Mahal says women cannot raise men. We do it all the time. It's just that you also need a man to teach a man to be a man. You can raise a man. It's just, he might not be whole though. He might need to seek male guidance from other outside sources if there's not a man in the household, or if the man in the household is not stepping up to the plate like he should. Andre says, if women have become hardened, it's because they've picked up a burden that we as men have placed on them by our failure to live up to our responsibilities. So when a woman has children, she typically does not, she's not gonna let, she's gonna have to step up to the plate most times. Now, as you know, think about back at your own mom. Like most of us have an amazing, superhuman, superwoman mother. And that's for everyone. That's every race. You know what I mean? But when your mom has to do both the masculine and the feminine things in the household, it makes her super hard. It makes her hard, and it doesn't let her live in her true femininity. And it doesn't let blossom all the value that a woman can bring to the table. Some of us don't even know the value of a woman because you were never allowed to be a true feminine woman. You were always a masculine woman. So you don't even know your power as a feminine woman because you've never been a feminine woman. You've always been a damn masculine woman. So, you know what I mean? And what's been revered in this society, as I said earlier, was that, oh, when a woman behaves like a man, when a woman has a man's level of success, a masculine level of success, then she's a boss. But we don't even know what does feminine success look like? And do we respect it? Do we empower it? Do we respect it enough so that it can blossom into something that we see as powerful? Kenyon says, Kells, I was with you up until this point. Your ancestry is non-Black American. However, you all are always prepared to offer advice to us. Do you non-Black Americans ever ask? First of all, I was born in Detroit, Michigan. You can't get no blacker than that. I was raised in Miami, Florida. You can't get no blacker than that. So Kenyon, for you to try to degrade my Black Americanness is inappropriate, first and foremost. Second of all, I am very well versed on what it is to be Black American, and I'm very well versed in what it is to be Jamaican American. So I can speak to both of those. I don't have to speak to one. So, yeah. Taj, no, DB says, Taj, you're absolutely right. I don't know what they're talking about there. DJ Buddha. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Andre, we can discuss how we got here and the root causes, etc. But at the end of those long assessments, it still comes down to men refocusing on doing better on ourselves and our families. I agree. As we said, as I said, when Trump, recently Trump has said some stupidness and everybody's up in arms. Oh my God, Trump done said this and Trump done said that. Who gives a damn if you're not gonna do anything about it but bitch on social media? Take the energy that you feel and the upsetness and all of that angst that you feel for him saying that and put it into organizations that build Haiti up. Go back to Haiti, travel to Haiti, tourism to Haiti, money into Haiti, run for politics in Haiti, support political parties in Haiti that you like, that you want to rebuild. You can't only tear down what you don't like. You have to take the energy that you're using to tear down what you don't like and put it into what you do like. That same you need that emotion, you need that passion and that fervor that you have, and that hate that you have for one thing, you need that to build as well. You know what I mean? So as Andre says here, we can discuss till we're blue in the face, but at the end of the day, black manhood have to be rebuilt by black men. Simple as that. And until that day, everybody else is just standing by at the on the sidelines pointing fingers, and it's always going to be like that. People are always going to be pointing fingers at you, whether you're a woman being sexually harassed, whether you're a white person being white guilt being placed on you, whether you are an American of Caribbean descent, somebody pointing fingers at you saying you're not American enough and that you can't speak to this even though you're born and raised in America. Somebody is always going to think that they can point fingers at you. At the end of the day, it is only about the action and the energy and the passion that you put into progressing yourself forward. That is all that matters. People can sit in the comments and sit on the sidelines and tell you about yourself all they want and tell you you're a shithole and tell you you don't know what you're talking about because you're actually Jamaican American, not African American, and tell you that black men are shit and all of this. And they can talk, everybody can talk till they blue in the face. But at the end of the day, it's up to you, you alone to decide your destiny and your fate and to command it. So yesterday we talked about manifestation. We talked about being able to affirmations, word of affirmations, being able to speak life into yourself. Not only being able to move things through hard work and grinding, but being able to move things through your mentality and being able to decide that this is what will happen. You have that power as well. And some people are like, what's she talking about now? Did she talking about witchcraft? What's she talking about? I'm talking about law of attraction. And as I said this twice in the video yesterday, I'm gonna say it again. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When you are ready to understand how powerful you truly are, not physical power, not brute force, but mentally powerful, your teachers will appear and show you how to do that. All right. Let's move on. Complementary energies, Taj says. So masculine and feminine, yin, feminine, yang, masculine, complementary, equilibrium in the household. So not one person being masculine and feminine, too much and somebody not doing anything, but men being, bringing in, women bringing in as well. It's complementary. Kenyon, again, the wealth of the world is in African soil, yet African people keep rushing to the U.S. so they can tell American blacks what's wrong with us. I think American blacks have a lot of work to do on themselves. I think American blacks play a lot of blame game, and it doesn't matter. All the talk does not matter. The only thing that matters, it doesn't matter what Africans say about you. It doesn't matter what Jamaicans say about you. It doesn't matter what Haitians say about you. It doesn't matter what Donald Trump says about you. It does not matter. All that matters is what you can do for yourself. So instead of trying to defend yourself against Africans and defend yourself against Jamaicans and defend yourself against Haitians and defend yourself against whites, get the fuck up and do something. Get together and do something. And you're already doing something. African Americans are dope. Are you kidding me? The entire black culture is dictated by African American culture. The entire American culture is dictated by African American culture. You just need to recognize that and acknowledge that and stop trying to defend yourself against nonsensical attacks. Somebody put a black kid in a hoodie and everybody got something to say. Donald Trump call you a shithole and oh God, who gives a damn? Who cares? Money, build, legacy, you know what I mean? To protect your women, protect and care for and prepare to be the head of a household and stop worrying about everybody else and worrying about what people got to say about you. That's the problem. That's the problem. It doesn't matter what anybody have to say about you. It doesn't even matter what your own mama and daddy have to say about you. It's about what you think of yourself. I'm preaching tonight. I'm sorry, but we gonna preach tonight because Kenny sent that email in and we preaching tonight. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what anybody has to say about you. It is what you believe of yourself. And you have to, if you have to believe that you're superior, then believe that you're superior. If you have to believe that you are worthy, then believe that you are worthy and make moves. Put that energy and that decisiveness and that tenacity and that belief and build it in your life. Manifest it in your life. Envision it. Work towards it. Work with others. Love yourself and love others and work. You know what I mean? Like, who cares if a Jamaican tell you you're not good enough? Who cares if an African tell you you're not good enough? Who cares if Donald Trump tells you you're not good enough? Who gives a damn? African Americans, stop worrying about what other people have to say about you and get your shit together. That's it. You know what I mean? I think that's it. It doesn't matter who denigrates you verbally. You still have to work. You still have to figure out. You still have to use critical thinking and planning, as Kenny said in his email. It doesn't matter what anybody has to say about you. What they say is inconsequential. What anybody has to say about you is inconsequential. It's only what you have to say about yourself. And if you have to sit down in front of a therapist to figure out how to speak life into yourself, then sit down in front of a therapist. If you have too much trauma in your life and all of your thoughts are self-loathing thoughts, if you don't believe anything positive about yourself truly, then you need to, whatever you need to do to get yourself to think more affirmative thoughts about yourself and your people, then you do that. Instead of sitting here worried about what Africans got to say about you. Who give a damn what an African got to say about you? Who gives a damn what a white person has to say about you? Who gives a damn what another African American has to say about you? Who gives a damn what a Haitian or a Jamaican got to say about you? Somebody's always going to be saying something to you. So stop worrying about that. And stop trying to point fingers of, oh, you guys always come to this country and have something to say about something. Who cares? Okay, I'm off my soapbox now. Let me move on before y'all report me as crazy. Airborne eclipse, the reestablishment of functional families with both moms and dads present is essential to raising both boys and girls. I agree with that. Kenyon, not against you on this argument. Okay, Nike Boy says, so do you think young black girls do not want a real man? So I'm sorry, I don't understand that. Oh no, do not know what a real man is. No, a lot of us think that like we're looking for men, they're cute. Oh, I want a cute guy. He has to be cute. Some of us understand that, okay, he has to make a little money or maybe he has to be a little bit ambitious. But right now, I think a lot of us are not understanding what a real head of household man looks like, a real provider and a protector man looks like. And we definitely don't know who to be having babies for and who not to be having babies for. The critical mass. Some of us do, obviously. I mean, a lot of us don't have children out of wedlock and just random children willy-nilly. In fact, teenage pregnancies has dramatically dropped because, people are like, you know what? I don't want that struggle life. I'm straight. I don't want that struggle life. I got to get a ring first, and we have to have a family and a household, and I have to know you can take care of a household before I have your children. A lot of us have that mentality, but some of us are still looking like Cardi B and Offset, picking up these dudes, these wannabe rappers. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Know what a real head of a household looks like. You know what I mean? Maybe you have to do some research on that. Tanya P. Trump isn't displaying masculinity. He's displaying insecurities. Trump is behaving as if his race is the superior race. And guess what? Maybe black people should be behaving as your race is the superior race. Maybe that's what makes you be able to compete in a society of limited resources, as Kenny said. Trump is behaving is serving his own self-interests. Trump is behaving in a way that serves his own self-interests. So we're not in the time of Obama anymore, where Obama was about collectivism and socialism, where we're equal and everybody loves each other and we're trying to bring each other up. Now we're in a time of individualism and self-servingness. So you need to be able to know how to survive in any climate. So right now we're in a different climate than we were. The pendulum has swung all the way back to the other side. So what does that mean? What does that look like? What does that mean for you? How do you make sure that your own self-interests are served in this climate as well? Doesn't mean, be at war, but it means be aware. Kenny H, good point on feminine strength being attacked. Right. So when I was saying that there are unique strengths in feminine and unique strengths in masculinity, and sometimes we don't pay attention to the strengths of the feminine. What we do is we praise women for being masculine. You know what I mean? And so that means that they're equal, because a woman behaves like a man, or she produces like a man, or she makes money like a man, or she grinds, or she hustles like a man. So, yes, that's a boss bitch. You know what I mean? But we don't even really understand what the feminine mystique or the feminine appeal or the true feminine strength is. And if we do, we call it bitches and hoes and prostitution. If we're talking about the seductress, or we're talking about the persuasiveness. Maybe that's a unique strength to femininity. But what do we call it? You know what I mean? Airborne. They felt that they were voting against a greater evil is why. So she's talking about why white women voted for Trump. Kenny says that they voted for Trump because they were protecting masculinity. And Airborne says that they voted that way because they felt that they were voting against a greater evil. I believe what Kenny says. I believe that they will protect their white men because they understand the importance of masculinity in their community. And I don't know if black people do that as well as other people do. Now, we might say it as like, why the hell would I vote for a Trump? I'm not gonna vote for an idiot. Well, maybe their society, maybe their culture hinges more on upholding the masculinity of their men, regardless if their men make sense or not. You know what I mean? I don't know why. Maybe somebody in the comments can explain that. But I do believe that respecting masculinity, regardless of if you agree with him or not, is a big thing that other cultures do. A little bit better than black culture. Twin fish. There's still plenty of black women protecting black men no matter what, unfortunately. I think it's important to respect black masculinity and black manhood, but not. It's a delicate line. It's a delicate line. It's a delicate line, and I don't really know how to explain it. I think you have to be in the corner of your men, but at the same time, you still have to expect more from them. You still have to figure out a very feminine way to get them to step up. Because at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer that men step up when the women elevate their standards. And it's kind of difficult to do in a society where black women are not necessarily seen as a prize. You know what I mean? Other women are seen as more of a prize sometimes. You know what I mean? But I still think that's why on this channel I talk a lot about elevating your standards, and being certain that you're elevating not only your standards for the people outside of you, but elevating your standards for yourself as well and what you bring to the table as a feminine being. Not as a woman behaving as a man. Not how much money you're bringing to the table. Not how hard you grind. Not how many jobs you have. Not a woman behaving as a man, but a woman behaving as a woman. Cursed Runway says black masculinity is very much defined and decided by white men. Is it? Why? Why? I understand that we're minorities in a country, but black masculinity can be decided by black men. Just like other cultures' masculinity are decided by their men. Yes, there's a drastic influence of the predominant culture, but you still can make a community and a concerted effort to define yourself in the face of another culture. As I said earlier, anybody can say anything about you, but you still have to decide what you are, who you are, what you will and won't accept, what you deserve, what you will do, what you will have in your life. You can decide that. And I don't know if we've been taught that. Well, a lot of us have been taught that everything in our life is decided by other extenuating circumstances. It is not so. It is not so. On some level, yes, environmental circumstances can dictate, but at a point, you take the reins. You manifest, you decide, you put the energy into what you want to amplify and suck the energy out of what you want to disappear. That's why when we, make a big whoop-to-do about some foolishness, you're actually amplifying it. When you see something on social media that you don't like and then you dislike it and you comment about it, you're actually amplifying it. If you want it to die, you give it no life, you give it no air, you cut it off, and you put your energy into everything that you do want. That is a point of manifesting. If you don't know what manifesting is, please watch YouTube videos about it. Please watch YouTube videos about manifesting and law of attraction and how you call things and command things into your life. Twinfish says no other race of women has as much reason to look outside of their race. There really isn't an equal comparison. No, no, I don't believe that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think it's brainwashing. I don't think it's fair to ask black women to look outside of their race, to say, oh, well, no other race. We don't ask other races to look outside of their race because no other race has a reason to look outside of their race, only black. I don't accept that. I don't accept that. I expect that black men will step up, and I expect that black women can. There are plenty of black men that can be husbands to black women. Plenty. So no, there's really no reason to be like, oh, look outside of your race. But you might have to shift. It's not one, as I said yesterday, there's not one story. Like there's not one way. Like we on TV or like in our lives, there's only like one or two ways to be in a relationship. That's how good relationships are shown. And everybody on the face of the earth in the Western world is looking to fit into this box of one or two examples. And what you have to come to realize is that your life might not look anything like those one or two or three examples that we've been conditioned to see. So just because your life doesn't look like that doesn't mean you have to run outside of your race because your race is insufficient. That doesn't mean that. It just means that you might need to tailor what you're looking for and create it your own self. Use critical thinking to say, you know what, let me sit back and let me think about what I really want. Not what I've been told I should have, but what I really want. What am I really looking for? And once you define what you're really looking for, where would that be? Where might that be? How might I put myself in the best position to get what I really want? Critical thinking, and not just looking on TV and say, okay, I need a tatted up hood nigga, but who really intellectual, and that's gonna make me be a baddie and trying to live somebody else's definition of life. Stop trying to live somebody else's some other person's definition of life and create your own definition of life. Create your own definition of life. And if you can't create it, look for it and create visions of it. Watch YouTube videos. Travel. That's one of the reasons why I'm a massive proponent of travel. Because when you travel, you see other visions of life different than the American way of life. And the American way of life serves one community better than it serves every other community. So when you travel and you see other ways of life, you might see a way of life that serves you better than the American way of life. That's why I say travel. Because it opens up your eyes to different ways of life. It opens up your eyes to a different way of seeing yourself and others. Oh my God. Mayowa Ola. Well, hello from the DMV area. Hey girl. Cursed Runway. Hey from Chicago. Kenyon Crosby, black men, we must reciprocate here. Black women on a macro level have always been with us. Any problems that they have are because of our incredible cowardice to not offer protection at all costs. That's a heavy comment. That's a heavy comment. You know what hurt me? I had a video on here on YouTube, and it was when the killings were happening. And you know the killings are still happening, but it's not news right now because the Me Too movement is news now. So the killings are definitely still happening. They've always happened. Everybody knows that. Every black person knows that. But they're not being showed right now. But the one that happened a couple of years ago where the cop killed the man, where the baby mama or the girlfriend or the wife or the feminine was in the front seat and the baby girl was in the back seat, and the cop shot the man in the front seat in front of the woman and the baby girl. When I tell you that pained me, that hurt my heart, because that's almost that was an embodiment of how it feels to be a woman, a black woman. Sometimes you feel left out in the cold, you feel unprotected, you feel unvalued, you feel under attack, you feel like you're not worth anything. Philando Castile, yes, DB. When I tell you, woo, woo, woo. I talked about it on a video and I teared up on the video too, because when I tell you that situation was exactly what it feels like to be a black woman in this country sometimes, in the world really. To even when you have a black man in your presence, even when you have a black man in your presence, even when you have a man who's supposed to be your provider and protector in your presence, somebody can come up and blast him in front of your face and your baby girl's face, letting you know that he's not shit and you're not shit and your life is not worth nothing and you're subhuman. That's how it feels. That's how it feels. And not saying that it's going to be easy for black men to figure out how to elevate masculinity and elevate manhood. Not easy. Life is not easy. But it's definitely necessary for that to happen, because it is very painful and it's very scary to be a black woman unprotected in this world. And that's a lot of the time you're hardened. You're feminine. You're not allowed to be feminine. You're not allowed to be submissive. You're not allowed to let your femininity come through and see the power in that, because you are scared and you have to work and you have to make life under attack. And you're waiting for your men to not attack you, but protect you. And you're waiting for your men to step up and to somehow figure out, to use their critical thinking skills to figure out how not to be the least. And I don't know if that's the right word there. But you're waiting for your men to figure it out. You know what I mean? And in the meantime, you have to do anything you can to protect. But that Philando Castile video where they just blasted that man in front of his baby girl and his woman, that is what, when you say black manhood is under attack, that is what you mean. And I understood it. I understood it. I understood what it meant to be a woman and how that felt. And I understood how black men, how it was essentially saying, how it was it embodied what it meant to be a black man in this country. But as I said, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you got to figure it out because we're depend. Civilization is depending on you, so you got to figure it out, whatever that means, by any means. That Philando Castile thing hurt my heart. Hurt my heart. All right, we're at 85 minutes. I'm going to do 10 more minutes in the comments, guys, and then I got to jump for tonight. You guys are in these comments heavy. Wow, I really want to see you guys' comments. Whew, look at these. Okay, Tanya P from Atlanta. Hey girl, what's up? DB says sow your oats in college, but then you have to transition to a man, and hopefully, you have that guidance to be able to transition to the man's. Airborne says cheers from Indy. Cool. DB, yes, it's regional with representation. I agree to an extent. As a corporate head, I'm a corporate pilot. It's not seen as vogue, but my black male friends struggle with it in the building format. I don't know if I understand you there. I did work inside, if you will, and to me, the white woman has taken advantage of the affirmative action more than black people overall. So if the white woman is manager and white man is VP, the white family is always has a two steps up. Now we should work to fix that. Black men should think legacy, 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 legacy. Kenny H, people love to outrage, and this administration, there's a new outrage every week. Who cares? Yo, like, real talk, when Trump changed that tax bill, I was like, so how am I going to make money off of it? I don't care. Anything that he does, how am I going to benefit off of it? You think I'm going to sit here and be outraged like some damn idiot? What is my outrage going to do? What vote? I already done vote. I voted. You know what I mean? So all I'm going to do now is pay keen attention to how I can benefit in any situation, how my family can benefit in any situation. You know how people win on the stock market? They make money when the stock market goes up, and they make money when the stock market goes down. You need to be able to survive in any climate, in any administration. So if you sitting here outraged and running up your blood pressure because Donald Trump said something stupid, you gon' have a heart attack by the time he done with his administration? Is that the plan for yourself? Is that the intention for yourself? You better learn how to leave his foolishness alone and learn how to benefit from whatever he do. Benefit from whatever he does, and get to the next administration and make sure you vote in your local elections so you know what's happening locally. But if you sit and watch this foolishness, all you're gonna do is run up your blood pressure. And black people got high blood pressure already. We got high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes. You gonna let this man kill you with his foolishness? Y'all better quit watching him and just make sure you understand how to benefit from whatever he's doing. Let me see. Ola says, what do you think about the Me Too movement? I understand it. I think it's a bit of a distraction from the Black Lives Matter movement. And I think a lot of these movements, the gay and lesbian movement, has been built on the back of the civil rights movement and of black people's ability to stand up and speak out and be brave. And I think other movements are always trying to emulate that. And so I think the Me Too movement is definitely that. I think it's needed. I too I talked about in my video about dating coworkers. I talked about a creepy, disgusting coworker that essentially sexually harassed me at work. So I've been in that situation more than one time. So I get it, but I do think it's a bit of a distraction sometimes to the black, Black Lives Matter. But I'm black and a woman, so I get both sides. You know what I mean? I get both sides. So, yes, my black side says big distraction, but my woman side says I've definitely been there. I've definitely been there. So I get it. I think it's important. But I think the civil rights movement and black people's ability to stand up and speak out in the face of adversity is what a lot of these other movements are always built on. Um, because we did it first, basically. I think the suffragettes, and but however, the suffragettes and the women's voting, I think that was a civil rights movement in its own as well. So maybe they've always been hand in hand. I don't know. I don't really I haven't studied it enough to be able to clearly know, how they feed into each other. But sometimes I'm like, big distraction. But if white people see the Black Lives Matter movement as a big distraction, can I really be mad? Not really, because everybody's doing what serves themselves. DB says, yes, the outrage is real, and Kells is right. Haiti has some of the best resorts I've been to, and all my Haitian friends are smart and beautiful, and one is famous. Who you know? Which Haitian you know famous? The funniest part, Mayowa says, the funniest part is other races of people see black people as black people, whether you're African, Haitian, Black, Caribbean, or American. Exactly. Exactly. So for black people to be then dissecting, say, well, you Haitians, or you Americans, or you Africans, or you Jamaicans talk this and talk that, it's a distraction. As I said before, as I was on my big soapbox, it's a big distraction. Stop thinking about what people are talking about you and saying, oh, well, you don't know my strife and you don't know my journey. They never, one, they don't give a damn, and two, no, they're never going to be able to walk in your shoes. So it's not your job to try to force them to do that, or to try to use it as an excuse for you not getting your shit together. Get your shit together. And don't worry about what anybody says, because a hater, you're not popping if you don't got haters. You know what I mean? And as I said, whenever I travel this world, Black American culture is what everybody in this world gravitates towards. Whenever I travel, the parts about American culture that really resonates with people are the Black American parts. If you've never been to DC and never been to the African American Museum of History and Culture, the brand new museum that opened a year and a half ago, and you see your culture reflected back to you in museum form, it's there's a lot of pride in that, because you don't even realize that what you do in your day to day and who you are is a part of a culture, like a distinct culture and driver of Americanness. And when you see it in a museum, you understand it. When you travel and you hear people appreciate your culture and appreciate American culture, and then you realize that actually they're appreciating blackness, it gives you this pride. So that's why I say travel. And that's why I say come to the African American Museum in DC and see your culture on display. So it doesn't matter what Haitians and Jamaicans and Africans and Jamaican Americans and Trinidadians and Canadians and Ghanaians say about you. It doesn't matter what they say about you as African Americans. What matters is what you do. So stop worrying about what everybody's talking about you as. They don't care, and it is not. Don't let it affect you. Stop using it as an excuse to not get your shit together. Get your shit together and let them talk. Let them eat cake. Let them talk. They're always gonna talk. All right. Curse Runway, right. I don't care about other groups' opinions. I do want to see us stop focusing on others' opinions. Opinions, you can't take opinions to the bank. You can't pay your mortgage with opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. You ever heard that? So stop worrying about what other blacks have to say about Black Americans. Stop trying to say, you don't know my journey because you're not black enough. Stop trying to denigrate somebody else's black. There's more than one way to be black. On this channel, the reason why we speak about the topics that we speak about is because I want to let you guys know that there are multiple ways of being black. There is not one way to be black, especially not in this country made up of immigrants. So, stop worrying about what other blacks have to say about your blackness and start getting your ish together. Prince 49, honestly can't deny any of this. If we're talking about bettering the black experience, it really doesn't get any more clear cut than this. However, like most things, life, easier said than done. Absolutely. It is going to be hard. Everything in life is hard. If life was easy, it would be called party. It's not called party. It's called life, and it's hard. And you can talk about it, you acknowledge it, but then you take that energy of acknowledging it and you move it into action. whether it be mental manifestation action or work, and it has to be both. It can't be, they're not mutually exclusive. It has to be both. Preaching. Kenny H, I'm Haitian myself, and my outrage will be channeled through my finances. Exactly. If you don't like what Trump has to say about shithole countries, make sure your country ain't a shithole. Why you mad though? If somebody say your country is a shithole and you know your country not a shithole, why you mad? If somebody say your country is a shithole and you like, damn, my country is a shithole, fix it. But don't sit here and be up in roars, up in arms. Oh my God, he called my country a shithole. He called all of us shithole. Oh, get him out of office, get him out of office, and then sit down and not do anything for your country. Then you are part of the problem. You know what I mean? If you're going to get outraged, if you're going to be outraged and you're going to put all that energy towards what you hate, be sure to put your energy towards what you love and what you want to build as well. Otherwise, you're only going to be eating yourself. You're only going to be eating yourself if you're amplifying the hate instead of elevating what you love. You know what I mean? And you have to understand that what you put your energy towards is what you amplify. If you put your energy towards something that you hate, you're actually feeding it. How you kill it is you take your energy and you take your attention away from it, and you put it towards what you do want to build and elevate. Energy, money, finances, attention, critical thinking, everything towards what you want as well. So yes, you can say, you know what, I want him out of office and I'm going to call my congressman, but I'm also going to start reading the newspaper in Haiti to understand what's going on in the political parties there and which of the political parties I think I like, and I'm going to send down some remittances and some money to the political parties that I think will work. And you know what? I might look at some nonprofits in Haiti that are doing something for something, and I might try to maybe volunteer my time or go on a mission trip, or I might do something because you know what? My country's not a shithole, but it's not the best that it can be. So instead of just railing against, build, right? So you have to put, it takes work. You can't be lazy. Critical, what are those things called? Fatal flaw. Laziness is a fatal flaw. You know what I mean? Laziness is a fatal flaw. All of this takes work. All of this takes work. So you don't have to work on every single thing. What you do is you pick your one or two things that you work on and you work on them. Just like if you want to work on black manhood, you work on black manhood and maybe one other thing. You know what I mean? Like, and you put your life towards that. You are, when Martin Luther King says, "Oh, if you don't have something you're willing to die for," all of us are dying. All of us are going to die. So that means you pick one or two things that you sacrifice your life for, you give your life for. Oh, excuse me. What else are you guys saying? True, believe in yourself and do something for yourself. Real talk. Great catch of the language. Roosevelt, great catch of the language. Not sure what you're saying there. Kenya says, Kells, I'm with you. Glad your channel is moving towards black folks. My channel is about the human experience, and I'm black. So it's definitely going to be, I'm not going to remove blackness from it. But everything that I talk about can be in the context of the human experience. And a lot of times we're led to believe that our experiences are so unique and so different, and our burdens or our crosses to bear are so heavy and so different than other people's, and oh my God, we're so different, when in actuality we're very, very, very similar, especially Americans. And so sometimes earlier in the broadcast when I was saying, I don't know if this is a black experience or if it's a poor person's experience or if it's a young person's experience or what kind of experience it is. But I said that because I'm aware that not everything that we attribute solely to blackness is truly solely to blackness. We might feel like that, like we might feel like, oh my God, this isn't only a black issue. Colorism is only a black issue. No, it's not. In actuality, in the world, a lot of different cultures have colorism issue. That's an example. A lot of different cultures have, whatever issue we're talking about, poverty or masculinity being on masculinity being attacked. A lot of cultures have that in different contexts. So it's not all our burdens are not only our burdens to bear. Sometimes maybe we're talking about black manhood. Maybe we need to look at other minorities in other countries and other contexts and see how they build up their black manhood. That's a part of critical thinking. So not just saying, not just understanding that the Americanness or westernness is the only way. We might be able to look at other contexts and come up with solutions based on what other people have done in other countries as minorities. Maybe that's a way to look at it as well. But my channel is about the human experience and the multidimensionality of being black and traveling and relationships and lifestyle and learning from the collective wisdom of the itskellscollective community. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't hit liked on this video, hit like and put your notifications on so you know when I go live, so you don't miss me rambling on. And you guys, give me your comments as well. All right, let me turn this down a little bit. This discussion should be a live forum. As African American man, there is duality of us and a duplicity of what we go through. I don't think about the white man or immigrated black people. Yeah, you don't have to. Don't be distracted by it. Don't be distracted by it. At the end of the day, everybody's here in America. Everybody is here in America. So there is an appeal. There is an appeal. There is an innate appeal. So, you're, on some extent, on some level, you are at the top of the totem pole. So you need to be able to silence all the haters and do what you need to do to progress your culture. Because everybody is here for a reason. Immigrants are here for a reason. You know what I mean? So instead of you saying, well, you immigrants don't know what it's like, and kill that. That's noise. Cursed runway. Do you have any issue with same-sex parents? Head of household is a minimum required qualification for a man. Okay. Does dating get better around 23 or 24 years old? Yes. It keeps getting better. It keeps getting better. DB says, this is a good topic, and I will say again, racism against black men is palpable in a sense that we keep what we go through away from black women. There is a reason for it. Okay. Yeah, women are to be protected. Women are to be protected, and I think, every race of man keeps what it is to be a man away from their women. Because that's what it means to be a man. Sometimes there are burdens that you need to carry as a man that you don't need to place on your women. You're a man. You're designed in a way to not be inhumane or to be a robot, but you're designed to deal with stress in a way at your optimal. When you're at your optimal, you're designed to deal with stress and deal with the pressures of the world in a way that's different than a woman is designed to deal with them. Roosevelt, I had both parents in one house, 3 kids all graduated from college, no teenage pregnancy, and all 3 of their kids have great careers. 2-parent home with a strong black male father is necessary. DB says, Roosevelt Jackson, you are right, but if the marriage breaks down, both parents still must set up to build strong black individuals. I did that, and my kids are doing very well. Absolutely, because you have decided, DC, that regardless of the breakdown of the 2 parents, that your children will do well, and you will do anything in your power to ensure that. So we're not looking for perfection. No one's looking for perfection because you'd be looking until you die. But what you're looking for is men that decide that the success of my race and my culture and my family and my women and my children is top priority, and I will do anything that is necessary to ensure that as the man of this culture. And that's what we're waiting for you all to decide and then do, right? So it's here and then action. Look at the type of black man you are drawn to. There are a lot of good black men in the world. There are a lot of good black men in the world. There are plenty. Plenty, 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 plenty. Don't let nobody tell you any different. Plenty. Roosevelt, you are right. Kenny says, preach, Kells. Yo, I was on a soapbox earlier. Oh my God. Like, y'all got me, like, amped sometimes. Okay. You are right. If marriages break down, but the two parents home with that strong, with two parents home with a strong black man and even stronger black woman is a must in our community. I don't want an even stronger black woman. I want a strong black man and a strong black woman. I don't need a stronger black woman than I need a strong black man. I need my black men strong. I like my black men like I like my coffee. Strong. Okay. Then I talked about Philando Castile, where he was murdered in front of his wife and his daughter, and or her daughter, whatever. It was a baby girl and a woman in the car, and I said that's what it feels like to be under attack as a black woman in this country. And now I understand what it felt like to be under attack as a black man in this country, and essentially saying, I will murder you in front of your woman and your baby girl because you're nothing. You know what I mean? So I understand how difficult it is as a black man, but at the end of the day, still expecting to step up, still expecting to figure it out. Critical thinking. God put you on this earth for something. Somebody put you on this earth for something. Legacy, 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 as Jay-Z says. I love Jay-Z. I'm sorry, I love Jay-Z, okay? DB says, Kells, every day I have to negotiate my black skin. What was hard was teaching my son the same thing. Yes, but you have to look at it as not a massive detriment. Everybody has something to negotiate, whether it's their black skin, whether it's their lack of intellect, whether it's their mental health, whether it's their weight, whether it's their sexual orientation, whether it's their addiction and health, whether it's their own personal demons, whether it's the demons of their fathers, meaning generational demons. Everybody has something that they need to negotiate. Women, whether it's their sexuality, everybody has something to negotiate. And you can't look at your blackness as something, some burden that nobody else has to face. You have to bring it into context, right? And yes, you have to learn how to navigate this world in a way when you're black that other cultures don't have to. It's true. But don't make it bigger than it actually is. It's big. I mean, you can glimpse and see a room and see a black person. You know, it's very visual. And, you know, humans are visual beings. But understand that everybody has their cross to bear. Everybody has their cross to bear. And don't intentionally make your cross bigger. We do that as humans. My problems are the biggest problems in the world. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're big problems, but everybody got problems. You know what I mean? Work around them. Roosevelt says, wow, Kel, it's very hard to be a strong black man in this world. Most black men only want to be able protect his woman and family. Men, that's what men want to do. Every man wants to protect his woman and his family. But you got to use critical thinking skills, and you have to be smart and savvy, and you have to play chess. When everybody else is playing checkers, you got to play chess. You know, you ever heard that thing, God doesn't give you burdens that you're not able to bear? You know, it's a colloquialism or like a, what do you call that? Not a colloquialism, but it's one of these things that they say that means little bit. But, you know, figure out, figure it out, figure it out. You got to figure it out. Like, you know, got to get together. More heads, more travel, more meditation. I don't know. More tapping into the understanding from the ancestors. I don't know, but got to figure it out. Kenny, the emotions you just showed are why Black manhood needs to figure this out, and it's so urgent. We have to do this regardless of the challenges, like you said, Kels. Abdullah K says, "This is the best thing I ever heard you say." Rose, I don't know what I said, but okay. Roosevelt Jackson, being a strong black man is not an individual game. Find a group of men to work with. Kenny said that to Roosevelt. Chrissy G says, "Amen." DB says, very true. I'll say this as an elder black man. We can't do it individually. It must be collectively as men. This is how the white man has operated for 500 years. Have they? Do poor white men and rich white men operate together? Or do rich white men convince poor white men that at least they're better than the blacks? Do they use poor white men to go fight their wars? Do white men actually work together, or do the rich work together and the poor fight each other? Ooh. Every community has their own crosses to bear. Me too equals hashtag witch hunt, hashtag hate all men. No, doesn't. I know it feels like that. I know it feels like that. But if you knew how much harassment women get, y'all are gross sometimes. Y'all men are gross. But I mean, what if somebody said the Black Lives Matter was a witch hunt? What if, somebody said, oh, blue lives matter, just be careful not to like put down a movement, because you wouldn't like it if they put down, if when people put down your own movement, it's like, you don't understand my journey, how dare you put down my movement. Same thing for the Me Too movement. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, y'all are doing the most, but I do get it and I respect it, because I know if somebody, if somebody didn't understand my journey, I'd be really upset about, if somebody didn't respect and listen to me when I told them the trials and tribulations that I was facing, I would not like that. And so, I say the same thing about the Me Too movement. Don't put it down just because you haven't experienced it. Just because you haven't experienced it in your life does not mean it's not true. So, I get it. But it's like hard to take Hollywood seriously. Like if it was regular women, you'd be like, oh, okay. But it's like all these Hollywood women and actors, and it's kind of like, well, didn't you know that you have to sleep your way to the top in Hollywood? But but I'm making light of it, but it's a serious thing, because it happens like, in diners and work. And I told you at my job, like a pervert sent me a damn dick pic. If you didn't hear that story, look back at the dating a coworker live I did on the Itskellscollective Collective challenge. Damn man sent me a big old dick pic at my job. Like, bruh. And I didn't even, like, ugh, y'all can be gross sometimes, I tell you. Airborne Eclipse says, every time you fired up and start preaching plain truths of adulthood, you kill me. Okay. Roosevelt says, you are right, Kenny. Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. We are working with young black men in sports, as well as in the classroom, and how to be good members in society, plus how to treat black women. Okay, so the black fraternities are working to be those upstanding black men, and to restore black manhood, and to get us to a critical tipping point, a critical mass, where all of us see the value and the restored value of black masculinity and black manhood. Canyon Crosby says, Kells, black men are waking up to who we are. We should already be feeling this. Black male power is absolutely predicated on black women. Tell us about life in the UK, Kells. I do all the time. You gotta look at my videos. Abataye Donaldson, beautiful name, says Africa has a rich history. Yes, it does. Um, Kenyan Kenyon says, we already know that, Kells. We just want y'all to ride with us. People are going to hate. You have to, you can't, people ride with you when you're on the winning team. And you just have to face that. You just have to face that. People ride with you when you're on the winning team. So make sure you're on the winning team and they'll ride with you. Don't expect them to ride with you when you're on the defensive. They ride with you when you're on the offense. I hope that's the right analogy. I'm not really a sports person, but I hope you understand what I'm saying there. Abdullah's case says genocide is a black issue that's facing black people, okay? Abataye says African countries are not shit ass countries. I am African American man with African name. It's a beautiful name. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Abdullah, I would like you to address genocide and the human experience as it pertains to African Americans or black folks. I don't know much about genocide, but I was talking about the Philando Castile killing, which particularly devastated me because he was murdered in front of his woman and his baby girl. And it just reinforced the feeling of what it felt like to be a black woman, unprotected, unprovided for, and seen as less human in this world. Kenny H says, Kenyon Crosby, the power of black men is predicated on the nature of our organizations, how we're able to collectively get together and build each other up and build in this world. I agree with that. Great. Teach them critical thinking skills as well. We need problem solvers out here, Kenyon says. So Kenyon was talking about Roosevelt, about the Phi Beta Sigma, the Sigmas, the black fraternity, and saying teach them, excuse me, as well. We need problem solvers. I always have lemon in my juice, so I always get, that ain't juice, that's brown liquor. But I always get lemon on my lips. Exactly. Let me read that. Well, read that again. The power of black men is predicated on the nature of our organizations, and teach them critical thinking skills as well. We need problem solvers out here. Like the music that we're listening to does not create critical thinkers. And you need to be careful with the music that you're letting your children listen to. There were shows that my father never let us watch. There was music that my mother never let us listen to. One time my mother threatened my life about booty shaking music when I was like 11 years old in Miami, where all that Uncle Luke, pop that coochie, hey, pop that coochie, babe, all that. She came down to the schoolhouse. She said, if I ever come down to this schoolhouse and see you out here, you know what I mean? She would take my Slim Shady's CDs and tapes and throw them bad boys out the car. You have to be careful of the media that you're letting your children and yourself ingest, because it's actually dumbing you down intentionally. It's actually dumbing you down intentionally. It's actually dumbing you down intentionally so that you have no critical thinking skills, so you can't build your community. Yo, they might assassinate me. Yo, they might assassinate me. Because I be on this channel telling y'all all the conspiracy theories. Not all of them. But I be dropping some conspiracy theory stuff. You know why? Because I'm a critical thinker. And regardless of whether it's correct or it's not, it makes you think. It opens up your eyes. When you say you woke, it means you understand things. You know what I mean? All right, Roosevelt, have a good one. It means that you are thinking about things that they don't even know that people are intentionally doing for your demise. The music is not making you think critically anymore. It's not making you love yourself or love one another anymore. It's actually to your detriment. So don't listen to it. I listen to a lot of Bob Marley because I'm Jamaican, and I like that rebel music, and I like the music that is upliftment, and I like the music that reminds you of your greatness. And I listen to the ratchet stuff too. I do. But when I have kids, they will not be listening to that. they won't be listening to it. All right, DB, have a good night. Early flight tomorrow. Okay, so I actually have a guest coming in to town tomorrow, and so I need to go as well. I'm gonna take a real quick pass. Let me see. Kenyon says the whole black movement was started by 3 black women. Yes, because black women have to be men nowadays. So, we're waiting for the men to be men. You don't have to fight black women feminists. What you need to do is put black women feminists out of business by being black men, powerful black men. So instead of fighting them and fighting your own, what you do is you make sure that you are putting yourself in to be the head of the household, the providers, the leaders in your communities. Stop worrying about what everybody is saying about you and what everybody else is doing, and worrying about organizing and building. Worry about organizing and building. Oh my gosh, so many comments in here. Your thoughts on interracial dating? I have no problem with it. You go where you feel the best. That's it. Life's too short. All right, Kenny's gone. I'm out from Kuwait. Good night. The last comment. The global society is structured on race, Kells. I understand now that you are oblivious to this fact. Um, yeah, I'm oblivious to race. Okay. Anyway, so I do these videos so you know you're not out here alone in this sometimes crazy dating world. I know that tonight's videos was not about dating per se, but it was about black manhood. And it was an email that came into the Itskell's Collective from Kenny H. And I thank him so much for sending that email in. I think it was a very powerful statement. I might copy and paste the email into the body and the undercarriage part of this, just so y'all could see what he was really talking about, because I thought it was a very powerful narrative that he sent in, and I'm happy to discuss it with you guys. As I said at the beginning of this, I was a little bit nervous to discuss it because it's a heavy topic. Like, it's a heavy topic, and I'm coming completely off the dome right now, so it's not like I've had a huge chance to prepare anything. But I did try to be as candid with you guys as I usually do on this channel. And we're not necessarily politically correct on this channel, but we are honest as we can be, and we're learning not only from me. I'm not the only one ranting, but we're learning from the collective wisdom of the It Scouts community. So if I could ask you guys a few things before we depart, if you could hit that like button on this video, if you could subscribe, and if you could also put your notifications on so you know when we go live. Thank you guys for joining another It's Kells Collective. I don't think I will be on for the rest of the weekend, but I will be on next week, and we will continue going live and discussing your topics. Email me at itskellscollective@gmail.com, and I will respond as best I can. Airborne Eclipse, you're welcome, my darling. Thank you for joining us. Chrissy, thank you and good night. All right, guys. Bye. Deuces, Prince.